it should have taken 12 to 18 months to accomplish what we did and less than 4. But it also helped me gain business because people were able to see me in those environments talking, you taking off simple things that I didn't have to sit there for 4 hours creating a plan or a shot list, not having to take that time away from what I want to do with my personal time in itself was invaluable. Priceless. I didn't have to hire as many people. I didn't have to deal with as many personalities.
Hey, how's it going? In this video, I'm interviewing one of my longest clients, Shane Santacroce, who has multiple businesses that he runs. And I was able to help some of them grow and scale using different strategies such as content marketing, event marketing, social media marketing, and much more. And if you're interested in learning how we can work together and do the same for you, please check out our website and book a call with us to learn at least if we would be a good fit and what potential improvements you could make in your current business. So without further ado, enjoy the video. All right. So we have Shane Santacroce here. Shane, how's it going? I know we've said no work for quite a long time.
Good. Everything's good. How's the, can you hear me well?
Yep, I can hear you well. I can hear you.
Yeah, let me just put my Wi-Fi on okay, it is on, just making sure.
Just to get you started, right? Just tell me a bit about yourself and some of the companies you're on and some of the companies that, we've been able to work together.
I started off by running my own sales organizations within companies, specifically the title insurance business, and a mortgage company, got to real estate, did well. But long story short, over the years, I've been in many different industries. When we met, I was still dabble in real estate. I do a lot in fashion there, as you know. I have my consulting firm, my marketing agency, my title insurance, company. I have a spa. So I have quite a few different operations that I own, operate, / consult for, you name it. So when we started connecting, it was on my event side originally. One of the things that kind of interested me with working with you after the first day we met is just your ideas on site with the different industries that I was in and kind of coaching me into the right direction, whether it came to the type of content I was producing or just how I was approaching things. It was great to see that kind of outside perspective. So I am, to answer your question, I'm in 9 different industries right now. I'm either the CEO or founder of 7 of those companies within those 9 industries. And, if it makes money, it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I think we work together on quite a few of them, right? You mentioned the event side of things, even the file insurance, right? And some of the fashion, the companies that you own as well that actually we're involved in, right? So the next question I do want to ask,
with the tequila brand, you're involved in that too.
Yeah, exactly. So there's quite a few ones, right? And so my question is like, what was the reason for you to, get help? Like, what was it important as to reaching out to someone like me to need the help for some of the things you're looking to do with the companies that you're working in?
I'm always looking for quality members of my team, whether they're coming to work with me directly or they're a consulting or a third party coming in. And you kind of fit that role a lot. Your energy was good, your knowledge was good, and you were very open-minded to learning. And that's really what opened my mind to say, you know what, I really want to get to know your dynamic a little bit better, see what the synergies are, and possibly do some stuff together.
Yeah. And I know, we've worked for quite a long time, right? We started back in 2021 and now it's almost like 3 years now, right?
Yeah. But that was another big thing too. Remember, COVID was going on back then. And, while everyone else was trying to take a back seat and collect government checks, we were out there hustling, trying to figure out how to maintain what we had or replace what we had to shut down, right? And you were kind of part of that whole process.
So that next thing is, what are some doubts or worries you've had working with someone like me before getting started, or what has been your experience working with others in a similar space in the industry?
It's a great question. So my doubts always are going to be the same thing with almost anyone, that's work ethic, right? Mm-hmm. I saw your personality, I saw your willingness to learn, and I saw a sense of drive that you wanted to be involved. Like I said, no matter how small of a piece of the project I was working on, as long as you were involved and I was allowing you to learn from that, you were okay being involved. But work ethic is always my biggest issue when I'm meeting somebody new. Is you could talk until you blue in the face. We can have a 5-hour conversation and you could put on a great show for 5 hours. But over the next 5 weeks is when things really start to show if you or anybody really has the work ethic behind the words that you present, right? So that's always my biggest doubt. It wasn't lackadaisical, okay, well, let's make a few bucks, pop a bottle this weekend and have a good time. It was always what's tomorrow, what's next month, next year, like what can I be involved with? And you quickly remove that doubt by proving with your actions, showing up when you needed to show up, going above and beyond. I mean, I know as many times I'd call you and I'm like, Shock, I need to get this accomplished like tomorrow. And I don't mean that like hypothetically. I meant like literally tomorrow. Like I'm calling you on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I needed it for Thursday. And a lot of people, oh no, I can't do that. And even if you couldn't, your first response was, all right, let me see if I can make that happen. Let's see if I can get involved. Let's see if I can call somebody. If I can't do it, maybe I can refer you to somebody. That work ethic shined through relatively quickly. So you kind of remove those doubts, quicker than most would have.
Thank you for mentioning that. But yeah, I remember there were times you're like, hey, I need someone in 2 hours, and or like I need something to be figured out in the next 2 hours. And I was like, okay, let me see what I can do and what is available to me, what resources I have to figure this out. Right. Even if
And on that also, you always were transparent with your communication, which again, if you can do something and say you can do it, do it. That's number one. Number two, but if you can't, just let me know. You're not going to hurt my feeling. It's business, especially I'm calling you. And again, that's not a hypothetical scenario. I've literally called you like, I think sometimes we do in less. I'm like, hey, any chance you get me somebody down here for this type project in 30 minutes or whatever the situation was? I know I gave you some very, very tight timelines and you were upfront immediately. Hey, I'll try. But if you couldn't, you always let me know. Like, hey, listen, I reached out to people I could. I can personally be that I can help you out. Look elsewhere. So that's a big part of it too. Not always just coming through, but being able to stand on your word. And if you can't come through, also being transparent, the communication about that. A lot of people just won't call you back or they won't let you know. You know what I mean? And maybe there's still a little hope that they're going to come through. You've always been very, very good about letting me know what you can do and can't do and standing on that.
So the next one is what are some of the results that you received from working with us?
I mean, it depends on the industry. I can go to several different specific examples if you want to mention one, but I think for the most part, when I say how I judge results are again work ethic, communication, transparency, and accountability. And I think for you specifically and your team, accountability was always there. Well, I'll tell you, I'll use the tequila brand for example, right? That tequila brand came to me when they just had nothing, right?
Yeah.
They had a fake social media account. They didn't really have much going on. They were trying to work with other people. Great, great people. The owners were fantastic people. They were just kind of floundering a little bit because they didn't have the right guidance, whatever. You involved me from day one from that project. And again, you had a very pivotal role in that project. So it wasn't necessarily just a small piece. And in the matter of what would have taken us to anybody else, and I'm going to say that with a little bit of arrogance, but as humble as I possibly can, it should have taken 12 to 18 months to accomplish what we did and less than 4, right? We got the major exposure. We got them in every major company, every major restaurant, nightclub in the Miami area that we were targeting. All the major names, Liv, 11, Giselle, you name it. And you played a pivotal role in that. So could I have done it on my own or with somebody else? Possibly, but just the way that we worked together and the way that you were able to jump in quickly when needed and kind of help me take them to such a pivotal point for them in such a short period of time, those results scream to the mountains of what a successful relationship is supposed to be.
Could you talk a bit more about Peak Title, right? The title insurance company, right?
Insurance
I
company.
remember, yeah. So I remember we were involved together as well from the very not the very beginning, but at least when the start
Pretty
early
early
on. Pretty early on with the events, and then bringing it up to a point where we were scaling that up as well.
Yeah, that's a perfect example where you came in with the, I guess, project management style work ethic. And when I'm hosting an event, it's very difficult for me to pay attention to the content opportunities during those events, right? And you always had a great eye for that. So if I was busy working with somebody or entertaining or speaking, whatever it was, you were always behind the scenes, making sure that those things were being captured and capitalized on. You would also bring to my attention, hey, Shane, this specific conversation, it's huge. Let's do it on camera. Or this specific setting, this specific scenery, when you were talking to them as a group and directing, you were just very, very good at keeping me on track when I'm hosting events. And again, if anybody ever sees this, we're not talking about events like a typical event with 20, 30, 40 people. Like my smallest event was 120 plus, as big as 600 and 700. And these are networking events, right? So you got to imagine hundreds of people. I'm running all over crazy. Being able to stop and capitalize on those moments became extremely like I can't even tell you. They became priceless because those content opportunities not only help me drive traffic for the next events, right? But it also helped me gain business because people were able to see me in those environments talking, and we got it on camera. And that's just something that wouldn't have happened. I've been doing events for 20 years, and I have no content over the past 20 years, right? So you were really able to say, "Hey, Shane, stop for a moment. Let me let you in on a little secret on what value these events you're doing have, monetarily speaking, and the ability to grow not only the events but some of my business portfolios as well." So you were very, very good at that. You played a pivotal role, and as you know, Pete Tile went from a very, very small company to one of the, you know, very well known in the South Florida area. So I think your role in that certainly speaks volumes for also says, yes, I brought you on to do that, but typically I have to be the one to sit down with you or someone in your position and lay out every little thing that I want to get. I don't think I ever had to give you a shot list or direction other than here's what we're doing, here's when we're doing it, here's what I want to get out of it. And you were able to put everything together for me. And that was huge for me because, again, as being this guy, right, I'm usually the one directing all projects. And even my project managers or my supervisors, my team leads, I'm still fully directing them and giving them the path to take. I didn't have to do that with you. You understood my objectives, you understood my goals, and you were able to create those paths on your own and distribute to my team accordingly. So again, for me, that was a huge, huge plus. Look, in a leadership role, you have to take full accountability for everyone underneath you, right?
Mm.
So to have someone that you know you can count on, you don't have to constantly double check and triple check. Most people, I would say almost, or the majority of people that work with you, they're going to do what you inspect, not what you expect, right? You're one of the very few people that I work with that kind of broke that stereotype, and you did what I expected above and beyond, as opposed to what I inspected every minute that you were working.
Yeah, look, just a little bit more about how did that do for you and your life and your business as you were like going about some of the things that the projects that you worked on?
From a personal perspective, you know, I'm a single father. I'm divorced a couple years ago, and my time is extremely valuable to me because any minute that I'm not working, I'm going to spend with my kids. So anyone that could take time off my plate in the business world is helping me in my personal life, right? Because it gives me that time to spend with my kids, whether making dinner, doing their homework, or just hanging out. It doesn't matter. It's time that I have now with my kids I wouldn't have had. So for me personally, it's just invaluable, right? So on my personal situation, you taking off simple things that I didn't have to sit there for 4 hours creating a plan or a shot list, or whether it was for an event or a project, whatever we're doing, not having to take that time away from what I want to do with my personal time in itself was invaluable. It's priceless. In a professional world, I didn't have to hire as many people. I didn't have to deal with as many personalities. I knew that if I gave you something, it was going to get done. And yes, this might sound repetitive, but that was a huge, huge benefit for me because I didn't have to double, triple check everything you did. And listen, every project that you've been involved with has been a success, right? So we haven't had any that have been failures. You know, thank God at this point, knock on wood. Everything we've worked on has worked out very, very well.
But if you could tell your past self anything before working with me, what would you say?
Before working with you, I would say, it's a good question. I would say two things. Number one, start sooner. Okay. I probably would have liked to recruit you when you were like 20 or 21. So I would have had you with me full time by this point, but it didn't work out that way. You know, but definitely start sooner. We started off kind of slow in the beginning. I had you involved in some projects, but I did again. I allow everyone to show me their work ethic and prove themselves over time. So I probably could have got you involved in projects sooner than I did. I would definitely do that. And I think I would have also gotten you involved a little bit more of training some of my staff that I was bringing on at the time. Your way of doing things and getting ahead of the curve was very impressive, for me. And again, especially the level of experience you had at that time was much less. So you already had a very strong growth mindset. You had a very solid leadership mindset, and it's very hard to find. So I definitely would have wanted to get you involved sooner in your career. And even when I met you, I would have given you more responsibilities on certain projects sooner than I did.
All right, Shane, I think that's all the questions I have. Honestly, like those are some very kind words you said, and I'd love to, continue working with you. Anything else you want to mention before we wrap this up?
No, listen, I mean, I know we're going to continue working together in the future. Anyone who ever needs a reference, feel free to give them my number. I'll be more than happy to answer whatever questions they have. Highly recommend any kind of service that you're going to provide. And, I'm looking forward to doing not only my projects with you in the future, but I'm, looking forward to working on yours as well and doing some projects together.